Everybody is sitting here. He said, your Lord has rights over you, so pray and fast, hajj, umrah, sadaqah. Your family has rights over you. Your wife has physical rights. You have to have relationships with your wife. Your wife has needs. Your kids have needs. Nobody here is allowed to neglect the hukuk of his family with the dawah. I'm going to be mu'tazil and just pray in the masjid all day. No. You go to the masjid at times, you fast at times, umrah, hajj at times. But you got to take care of your family. You have to take care of your wife. You can't be a person who's overweight, out of shape, and your wife wants her haqq, meaning her relationships. Al-istimta', akramakumullah, mathalan. You have to give your wife her haqq, your family your haqq. He said even your neighbor has rights over you. These people who share this car park with us, they have hukuk on us. Don't smoke cigarettes in front of their place. Don't throw things in their place. Don't park and jam up there. They have hukuk. How in the world are we going to come to the masjid, give Allah his haqq right now, and then run into the masjid to give Allah his haqq? We're going to just park our car anywhere and no. You have to pay attention to your neighbor here and your neighbor as well where you live. And he said, you have a haqq over yourself, your nafs. You can't be a person who works all day, every day, and you don't pray. There are some people like that. They work themselves to death. So there's the person who, whatever his wife wants, whatever his children want, he's there for them. He has that on lockdown, but he doesn't pray. And he doesn't get a rights to the neighbor. So I gave you those adillah to show. We have to be balanced. And there are many proofs. The Muslim is balanced. He's not like that. A man who has two wives or more than one, if you're not fair to both of them, one of your sides is going to come and you're going to be dragging. You have to be balanced in everything. Don't overeat and don't be a person who's anorexic. Don't work out all the time and don't be a person who's getting out of shape, fat. You can't do anything. No. The Muslim has to be balanced. What came after that is the point. After I said that to this community, I said in being balanced and just, we have to make the i'tiraf. We're in Europe and we're in this country. And the hadith I remember telling you was that hadith, Man lam yashkur al-nas, lam yashkur Allah. Anybody who doesn't thank people has not thanked Allah. So I have to tell my wife, thank you, Jazakillahu khair, for all what she does. Anybody who does ihsan to you, ma'roof, you can't say, forget him, Jazahu indallah. No, you have to tell people, Jazakallahu khairah. Now is not the time to get into the tafasil of the fiqh of that, because there's a lot. Rasulullah told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, man sana'a ilayhi ma'rufa. Anyone who does any good for you, try to repay him back. And if you can't pay him back by getting him a similar gift or something, you should say, Jazakallahu khairah. And he told us other things, but the point is, I mentioned that hadith in order to say, all of us have eyes and we say, we're in the UK. And as a result of coming to the UK, we have received a lot of khayr in that decision that we made, our parents made. Some of you here studying, some of you who are second generation Muslims. Now don't get it wrong and don't get it twisted by any stretch of the imagination. Staying here has a price to pay. Every thobe, every microphone, every phone, every car, everything you do, you have a price to pay. Coming here, it's not a utopia. We have a price to pay. Our children. So I said, and I bring this to your attention, we received a lot of khayr here. Things we didn't receive in our own countries. And the Navam here, ahyanan yushkar alayhi wa lahu. We thank sometimes the system. In the places where we come from, Africa, the Arab world, Pakistan, where do we come from? If you have money, you can kill a person. You could come into the masjid and kill the khatib on Friday. But if you have money and you have a wasita, you won't go to jail. Here, it's not that bad, but don't think it's fair and just. They commit crimes day in and day out, but they call it white-collar crime. White-collar crime. So the shahid from all of that kalam is to draw your attention to what I said that day, that we're not for and we don't support those Muslims who are mutakhallifun, mutashaddidun. Those people want to kill people. They want to hurt people here, stab ministers. That is it happened. Killing people on the London Bridge. Some of these da'awat of these jama'at and these people, we ask Allah Ta'ala to clean the earth from these people. This doesn't help us. It doesn't help us. There's good in being here. Allah's earth is spacious, and some of us found ourselves here. Who here doesn't have access to the NHS? Who here, he had a baby, and by Allah's permission, that baby was able to be seen by medical people? Who here has a child? I have a student in my class in this madrasa, he had a hole in his heart. A hole in his heart. But the technology and all of that stuff that they have here is easily accessible. Is it perfect? Kalla, wallahi, it's not perfect. But how in the world is anybody going to make inkar of that? How? So the point was not difa. I wasn't making difa on the mujrimeen here. I was trying to establish what's true. But I was also clear with this community to say this. There are two extremes that Muslims have when we make their itiraf of this, what I just mentioned, that there's khayr here. One extreme is the Muslim who, he's like me, he's from Africa. So when he comes here and he sees the situation, everything white and European is perfect. And everything that's African, everything that's close to where I come from is bad and no good. So he has an inferiority complex. In America, we used to call him a coconut. That's what we used to call him, an Oreo. Everything good, white. So when you sit with him, he's upset with everything about his people and where he comes from. That's an extreme, ya akhi. And the other extreme is those people, and I mentioned this, and it's a terrible statement. And there's a man who said this a long time ago, and it caught on to the people that keep saying it. And it's not correct to say it because the waqi' doesn't support it, and the religion, you kadhibuhu. So if you say this, don't say it. I'm sure you heard those people who say, I went to the West from the Arab world. I went from the Arab world to the West, and I found Islam. But over there in the East, where the Muslims come from, Arabs and other than them over there, I found Muslims. What he was talking about was the Navam. Things work here, for the most part. But in the Muslim world, it's not like that. I say, bit samaqah. That's not true. You came to the West, and you found in Belgium, and in UK, and you found in France, Islam, and in America. When the president gets sworn in, puts his hand on a Bible, and they swear by the stuff in the Bible, and all of that other stuff that's going on. You found Islam in the West, where I'm looking in the audience of an ocean of different faces. There are people in this audience, they're here because the West went to their lands and continue to steal from their riches. You found Islam here? Don't say that. And then when you went to the East, the Muslims, and Mecca and Medina, and the rest of the world, and in Yemen and Sham, where the Muslims are, especially the Arabs, you didn't find Islam there? That's where the ulama of this ummah are. That's where the people of this language are. In the Muslim world, there are a lot of problems. But you know the karam of the Muslims. That's in the East. You know respecting your walidain. That's in the East. Oh, we have problems over there, but not like here. So the point is that statement is not right. We come here and we find some things that are from al-Islam, no doubt. But Islam and the Muslims are in the Muslim world. It's not here. We have Muslims here, but I hope you get the point. So I came here today, Ikhwani, to ask a few questions. Because there's a big fat elephant in the room. He's so big and fat that he's sucking the oxygen out of the room. It's hot. I want to talk about Sha'ban, but the big elephant in the room is what's going on in the Ukraine. What's going on in the Ukraine? I'm not here to get political, and I'm not here to get deep. I'm just here to ask 3 questions. Just ask some questions. I'm not condoning. I'm not endorsing. I am not trying to big up these things and glamorize them and glorify them. I'm just asking these questions for people who are not from our ummah who may see me. And I'm asking them, what's your answer to these questions? I mentioned here something that happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2019, in Christchurch in New Zealand. There was a white guy who was a white Christian supremacist. He was a problem, and he believed and practiced Christianity. And in the paper that he talked about Christianity. That man went on a day like today, Friday, and he went into a church in New Zealand, and he opened up fire, and he started shooting people like you. You're not expecting anyone to come into this masjid and kill us. It's the last day you're going to see your babies. Who ever thought that? Let me die another way. I don't want to die like that. My back to the people who come and shoot my head off. After the people in Jummah, he went to a second masjid on Friday. This is a Christian, believe in Jesus. Isa ibn Maryam, who said, love your neighbor. Who said, be patient with the people who are not on your religion. And he went to the second masjid and blasted some people again. Over 50 people killed, over 40 Muslims hurt, almost 100 people. What's the point? When the UK media reported that, I saw with my own eyes by the Lord of the Kaaba in the Sun as well as the Guardian. And the Guardian is supposed to be an intelligent man's newspaper. I saw that they brought a picture of that murderer when he was 2 years old, and he had flowing blonde hair, and he had steely blue eyes, and he was looking into the camera, and the caption said, adorable boy. And then it asked questions. How did he turn into a monster? And That picture, if you see it, under normal circumstances, you would say, oh, that's a nice picture, feeling adorable. But under these circumstances, how in the world are you going to bring that picture now? How? The man just killed people. Why was it reported like that? It's reported because of what I want to tell you today. The racism in this country. The racism in the West. Do they have a monopoly on it? No. There's racism in the Arab world. There's racism in every country we come from, amongst ourselves. But the racism of the West, some of you better wake up and smell the coffee. You better wake up and smell the coffee. Is every white person, a Westerner, a racist? La, I'm not saying that. But I want to tell you here, do not be a person who takes any information from the media. I'm here to tell you that. The media here, BBC, all of them. Don't be a person who just reads, listens, and you believe their narrative. Allah said in the Quran, إِن جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِنَبَإٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا. And in the riwayah, فَتَثَبَّتُوا. If any evil person comes with news, ascertain, find out about its reality. If your life is everything they write, you believe it, you're going to be an oppressive person. You're going to be astray. So if you look at the media in Russia, they're winning the war. If you look at the media here in Europe, Russia's losing the war. Which one is right? It's just a game. That picture of that white kid, that was a point they were trying to make. Let him be a Muslim, an Arab. Let him go and shoot people like that. You would have seen worse than that. The prime minister of this country called the Muslim woman in jilbab, the burqa, the niqab. He said she looks like the letterbox. My question is, why does the media report the white murderer the way they do adorable, and they allow the prime minister to say what he says, and it's not offended? You let that prime minister say that about the Jewish community. You let him say that about the Jewish man, the way he looks, the black that they wear. Let him say that about the Jewish lady. It would never happen. It's racist. It's not acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. But do it to the Muslims because you'll have immunity. They're weak. They're divided. All they can figure out and all they can do is, what madhab are you on? If you're on my madhab, and even then they can't get together. Second issue, I mentioned it here in America. There was a young boy. His name was Dylan Roof, in South Carolina, America, where my relatives, some of them come from. He was worshiping in a church with African Americans, worshiping in a church. On the walls of the church, Isa ibn Maryam, Ibrahim, Jibril, Mikael, all white, all painted white. It's what we grew up on. He says white, the Malaika is white, even your kids. Your kids who you allow to do that Valentine's, February 19th, Valentine. The little angels flying around, white little naked angels. There's a point behind that. It's a point. So this boy, after worshiping with those African Americans and eating with them, he pulled out some weapons and he shot them and killed 9 of them. From them were old people, from them were women, from them was a young person. Listen to this, unbelievable. It was reported. When the boy was being taken away to do his time and to deal with the situation, he told the policeman, hey, I'm hungry. I was busy planning what I was doing. I'm hungry. And I just want to get something to eat. The policeman took him to Burger King on the way to the prison. Took him to Burger King. When I got beat up by the police in America before becoming a Muslim, they beat me up. I told them I can't breathe. I'm hurt. You beat me up. I won't go to police. They told me, if you keep talking, we're going to make it so that you'll never see the light of day. Because they see me one way, and they see white people another way. They police me one way and police them another way. The racism of America. The blatant racism that this thing in Ukraine is showing us clearly. So my question is, why the double standards? Why the double standards? That's the question. So when this problem of Ukraine started, there was a soldier from the Ukrainians. He had his phone, he put his phone down. There was a bridge that was coming. There was a bridge where the Russians were coming. He only wanted to delay the Russians. He was on the post by himself. He just wanted the ta'khir of the Janud. That's all. So what did he do? He pictured himself and he exploded the bomb just to break up the bridge. He was described as being a hero right here in this country. The Guardian and other than that. The politicians and other than that. So my question is, why when a Muslim does something like that? I'm not calling to it, I'm not glorifying it, but why when he does it, we start hearing Allah loves this. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he loves this. These people, that's their religion. Why do we get that double standard? That's my question. Why is he a hero over here? Over here, he's an irhabi. Question. I saw with my own eyes old ladies from Ukraine making Molotov cocktails. You know, those bottles, liquor. You put oil, whatever, flammable liquid, you throw it. And I saw that they do it in the tank passing by. Old women were doing it. I saw here, people went to the Ukrainian embassy and said, hey, we want to go to Ukraine to fight. I'm British. You have any experience? No. Not only did he not have any military experience, he was a convicted felon. A convicted felon has no right to be around guns. He was reported, and he was a hero. He was a hero. And anybody who wants to do this is a hero. But now, I'm a Muslim, 1986. I see my brothers in Palestine being oppressed. I want to go to help free Beit al-Maqdis. I don't want to kill anybody. I'm not an irhabi. I don't want terrorism. That's my masjid. The third most important masjid in Islam. But if I go to do that, I'm an irhabi. The Palestinian women over there, those mothers who see what they see, taste what, when they do something small, like stand up to one of those Zionist soldiers, they get shot down, dead. And they say about her, she's an irhabi. Why irhab over here? But over here is heroism. And we can go on and on and on and on with those examples. The reason behind it, and this is the message. This UK that we're living in, it's a lot of khayr. But you can't get it twisted for 1 minute. We are living in a racist society. Wallahi. This Christianity stuff, the only connection many of these people have with Isa ibn Maryam is just a dawah. That's it. They see their color as his color, and as a result of that, they exist like they have white privilege. That doesn't mean every white person is like that. All of the European, no, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying to you, Abdullah, wake up. Don't be of those people who hate who you are, and you hate your jador, and you hate where you come from. And you're gonna make ta'zeem of this, democracy. Democracy, any khair that is connected to siyasa, Islam already has it, already. So I wanna say to you, we have to have filters when we read things and when we see things. We have to love and hate each other, understand, accept and reject based upon filters. What's the filter? The filter is al-Islam. As a Muslim, I have to look and listen and judge everything Islamically first. What's my mawqif concerning the war in the Ukraine? Well, Islam is going to determine that. Islam, not my color, not my ethnicity. After Islam, me, I'm not speaking about anybody here, but after Islam, determining how I look at things, I'm gonna look at things as an African American, as a black man. But that's after Islam. I'm going to like, I'm not going to like, I'm going to accept, I'm going to object based upon Islam. But then after that, I'm going to base it upon my experiences and who I am here today. So Ummatul Islam, let's acknowledge, let's embrace. The time has come. If we don't do something about the status quo, coming to the masjid on Friday, we get Jummah off our back there. No. We have a responsibility to change the narrative with these people. If we don't do that, we'll continue to be looked at as second-class citizens. Second-class citizens who get slapped around whenever people want to slap you around. The days of we just arrived off the boat from our country and let's just keep under the radar, those days are over. And that's because our children are mixing in this society, and our children are going to be the first-class citizens that will suffer as a result of these foreign policies and these domestic policies. Because as an ummah, we're not on point. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى التوفيق والسداد. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا وطيبا مباركا فيه. Last thing I want to mention, Ikhwani, in less than 30 seconds. Getting up here and doing the khutbah is an amanah. Anybody think they can do it better, similar? Come to us, inshallah. Come to us. We'll say, come, we want to see. Help us out. Big responsibility. Mas'uliyah in front of Allah, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Mas'uliyah on the khatib's shoulder. Don't politicize Islam. Don't settle scores with people. Don't push people away. Don't give dawah to what's not Islamic. Don't call to shirk and khurafat and bid'ah. Also have the kahunas to deal with situations. Imams can't say anything out of afraid. You can't say LGBT anymore without being afraid. So I want to say to you in concluding, anybody in this masjid that ever hears a khutbah that you don't like, you have a problem with it, it touched you the wrong way, pressed the nerve, I'm always here. I'm always here. Not as a gangster tough guy, but perchance the haqq is with you. And I want to rectify myself, stand before Allah, Yawm al-Qiyamah, naked, barefooted, and uncircumcised. Me. And Allah's going to ask me about, what did I say to the Muslims? And there's someone in the audience who has the truth, and I'm just arrogant. I don't listen. No. Everybody here, open door policy. Come and talk to us. give us the dhikr, give us the tadhkir, give us the nasiha, give us the tanbih. We'll listen, inshallah, and we'll discuss. If we accept, we accept. If we don't accept, we don't accept. But remember what I said. My filter is this religion. قال الله وقال رسوله وفهم الصحابة. That's my filter. As for my Sheikh, my madhab, my people, my father, ala ras wal ayn, but that's not how I practice this religion. May Allah Azza wa Jalla Ikhwani establish our feet firmly upon the Kitab and the Sunnah and make us rijal for this ummah. And may Allah Ta'ala divinely protect our ummah from the plan, those things that these people are doing, and may He help us to wake up to smell of coffee. Aqim as-salat. Yarhamukum.